All right, so in the previous section, we learned how to graph the parent graphs for sine and cosine. And today we're going to learn a little bit more and how it relates to the families of graphs that we learned about in chapter 3. All right, so we're going to start by doing a little warm up. And so I'm not asking you to graph, I'm just asking you to describe what's happening to the graph based upon the parent graph. So you'll notice that I gave you the parent graph as y is equal to x squared. And so for A, we multiplied by 2. For B, we multiplied by -1. And for C, there's a 3 on the inside of the parentheses. So take a moment to pause the video and see what you would get. What would we do to that parent graph? So if we take a look at A, remember anything inside the parentheses is horizontal and anything outside of the parentheses is vertical. And so vertical we love because it is what it is. So with this 2 being outside of any parentheses that we have, this is a vertical change. And since my scale factor of 2 is greater than 1, we can say that this is an expansion. And so we would say that this is expanded vertically by a scale factor of 2. Okay. So if we take a look at B, I've got this negative, so I haven't changed the size of the graph. And so, if, for example, with A, we stretched it vertically by a scale factor of 2. So in this case, I don't have a number greater than 1 or less than 1. I just have this negative sign. So anytime we see a negative, it's a reflection. And since it's outside of the parentheses, I need it to be a vertical reflection. So if the reflection is vertical, it's reflecting across a horizontal line. So this is going to be reflected with respect to, so remember WRT means with respect to the x-axis. All right. So then taking a look at C, remember that 3 is on the inside of the parentheses, so that means it's horizontal, and anytime it's horizontal, remember I kept saying we have work to do. So the scale factor is never going to be what it looks like, just like the translation will never be what it looks like. So in this case, instead of the scale factor being 3, we're going to call this 3 over 1, and the scale factor is going to be 1/3. So the scale factor for the horizontal stretch is going to be the reciprocal. And since that's less than 1, we're going to call that a compression. And so we're going to say that it's compressed, again, because that was less than 1. And then it's going to be horizontally, because it's inside the parentheses. And then we would say by a scale factor of 1/3. So just trying to bring back some memories from chapter 3. So if there's any questions that you have on that, that would be the chapter that you would look at. Okay. So moving forward, what if we moved that into a sine and cosine situation? So what I want you to notice about part A is the 2 is on the outside of the sine. It's not saying sine of 2 something. It's saying 2 times whatever the sine of theta is. So this, just like question number A on the warm-up, is just saying 2 times my parent graph. So you'll notice my parent graph is y is equal to sine of theta. So just like this was expanded vertically by a scale factor of 2, so is 2 sine of theta. So we're going to say expand vertically by a scale factor of 2. So trig functions do have some fancy language that goes with that. So we don't just say expanded vertically by a scale factor of 2. We say that the amplitude of the function is 2, meaning how high or how low we can go based upon what we'll call a midline later on in the chapter. So if I have either a times sine of theta or a times cosine of theta, the absolute value of a is called the amplitude. So remember, the negative doesn't matter because the negative is just that reflection. So when we're talking about the amplitude, the stretch, or the compression, we're only talking about the absolute value of it. All right, so coming back to this problem, let's remember how we graphed sine of theta. So notice we have a dashed line is going to be our y equals sine of theta, our parent graph. And then the solid one is going to be our y is equal to 2 sine of theta. Okay. So if I'm expanding vertically by a scale factor of 2, and normally my range is from 1 to negative 1, that means my range is now going to be from 2 to negative 2. Okay. So if we graph y is equal to sine of theta, there's a few things we need to remember. So one is that my period is 2 pi. And that we always break up our sine and cosines into 4 pieces. So half of 2 pi is 1 pi, and half of 1 pi is pi over 2. So we get 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and 4 pi over 2. So these are all the same numbers that we would have on our quadrants if I was graphing this as a unit circle type situation. The next thing we need to remember is the y-intercept for sine of theta was at 0. And if you don't believe me, you can type in sine of 0 in your calculator and you'll get a y value of 0. So with sine, we had a hill, and then we had a valley, and then we ended up right back at that 0. So we said sine had zeros or x-intercepts at n pi, and it had maxes and mins at odd pi over 2. So what this one is doing is saying whatever your height is, multiply it by 2. So from my x-axis, if my height is 0, I'm going to stay 0 because 2 times 0 is 0. But at pi over 2, my height is 1. I'm going to double that height to 2. At pi, my height is 0, so 0 times 2 is still 0. But at 3 pi over 2, my height is negative 1, so I'm going to double that, and it's going to be negative 2. Then at 2 pi, my height is 0, so we're going to stay at 0. And so you'll notice all we did, we didn't change it horizontally, but like silly putty, we took it and we stretched it vertically and made it go higher and lower. All right, so if we try this one, we added in a couple of things. So the negative is telling me that we want to reflect with respect to the x-axis. And then the 4 is telling me that we want to expand vertically because there are no parentheses by a scale factor. Whoops, that's not the right word. By a scale factor of 4. Okay. So again, we're going to do a dashed line, which I just realized in my previous problem, I forgot to do a dashed line. So the red one should have been dashed. But coming over here, my dashed line is going to be my parent graph of cosine of theta. And my solid line is going to be the graph that they're asking us for, which is the negative 4 cosine of theta. Okay. So graphing cosine, again, we're going to follow the quadrant. So we've got pi over 2, we have pi, we have 3 pi over 2, and we have 2 pi, right? Or you can think of the normal period for cosine as 2 pi. Half of that is pi, half of that is pi over 2. So we get 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 4 pi over 2. So normally it goes as high as 1 and as low as negative 1. And then cosine, so again, think either on the unit circle. So if I bring this over here, do we see it 0? Cosine is 1, sine is 0. So cosine's going to start high, and it's going to make a big valley, and then it's going to come back up. So this is what my cosine of theta is looking at like. This is my parent graph, right? So reflected with respect to the x-axis means we're going to start low and make a hill instead of starting high and making a hole. And we're going to expand it vertically by a scale factor of 4, which means we're going to get as high as 4 and as low as negative 4. So at 0, we normally went up 1. Now we're going to do the reverse, and we're going to go down. 4 times as far. So we're going to go down -4. At 0, reflect it, it stays in place. Multiply it by 4, it stays in place. So my x-intercepts will not change. At pi, I'm at a minimum of -1. So instead of going down, I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go up 4 times as fast. And then at 3 pi over 2, if I reflect it across the x-axis, it'll stay on the x-axis. And if I multiply it by 4, I'm still 0 units away from the x-axis. And then at 2 pi, I was at 1. So instead of going up, we're going to go down, and we're going to go down 4 times as fast. So that means that we're going to have a hill instead of a valley. Right? So see if you can pause the video and give this graph a try. Describe what we're doing, or actually name the parent graph, describe what we're doing to the parent graph, and then go ahead and graph it. And so the parent graph is going to be y is equal to the sine of theta. And then the 1/2 tells me because 1/2 is less than 1, we're going to be compressed vertically because there's no parentheses by a scale factor of 1/2. Okay. So if I go to graph sine of theta, again, we've got from the quadrants pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So I can go as high as 1 and as low as -1. And sine, again, at 0 on my unit circle, the sine is 0. So we're going to start right at the origin. And then we're going to go as high as 1. Remember, we make a hill, and then we make a valley, and then we're back up. So this is what my sine function looks like. That's the parent graph. So the new graph says go half as high. So that's why I made 1 and -1 the top and the bottom. So this is going to be 1/2 and -1/2. So again, my x-axis will stay the same. My x-intercepts will stay the same because the height of 0 multiplied by 1/2 stays 0. But here, my height of 1 gets compressed to a height of 1/2. And here, my height of -1 gets compressed to -1/2. So I still have the hill and the valley because I didn't have a negative reflecting the function across the x-axis, but I squished it so that it goes up and down half as much.